Okay, so on math board number 8, it says go through and decide if each number is rational or irrational. If it is rational, it can be written as a fraction. The decimal form of the number either terminates, like 0.625, or the decimal form does repeat, like 0.125, 0.125, 125, 125, 125. An irrational number is anything that includes pi or the square root of a prime number or the square root of a composite whose one of their factors is a prime number. So for example, if I have the square root of 42, 42 is a composite number. 42 is not prime. I can get 42 by saying 1 times 42, but I also 2 times 21 and 3 times 14 and 6 times 7, right? So there's a whole bunch of different factors to 42. However, if I broke it down into, say, like 6 times 7, that means I would have the square root of 6 times 7. Well, this is the square root of a prime number, so it would be irrational. Okay, so this is the square root of a prime number. It's irrational. This is a fraction. It's rational. This terminates. This is pi. It's irrational. This is 0.6, but it's repeating. If the decimal repeats, then it's rational. And finally, this is the square root of 81, which is 9. And you can write 9 as a fraction, 9 over 1, so it's also rational. Number 2, use two numbers from the box to turn the equation into an equation with no solution. So if it has no solution, it means that the variable, once you eliminate it, there is no variable that remains. So when I combine this 2x with this, I'm going to have x plus 5. What I need to make sure is that this side also has an x plus, and it can be any number when I simplify as long as it's not 5. Because when I subtract x from both sides, I want 5 equals some number, but I want these numbers not to make a true statement. So if this was 5, it would make a true statement, and that would be infinite solution. As long as this number is any number besides 5, it will be false and therefore no solution. So what will I fill this in? Well, I can fill this in with the x. That will take care of having an x. And then this, I just need to make sure that when I add this with whatever I write right here, does not equal 5. So I can't use the 0. I don't want to use the 3x because then the x's would not simplify. I did use that already. If I put a 5 right there, then this would be 10. I could use that. If I put 10, then 5 plus 10 is 15. That does not equal 5. That would work. If I put a 2, 5 plus 2 is 7. That would work also. So any of these 3, so the x and any of these 3. Use two numbers from box number 2 to turn the same equation into an equation with one solution. So this is no solution, right? Because we made these not equal. If I wanted them to have infinite solutions, then I would put 0 right here, right? Because then it would be 5 equals 5. If I want there to be one solution, what it means is that when I combine the x's, this would be x plus 5. I don't want this to be x. So what could I do? I've got two blanks here, right? So I could say x plus 5. That'd be fine. Or I could say 3x. This is still going to be x plus 5. I could use the 3x. And then the other blank could be anything else. Anything else at all. Because then if I have x plus 5, when I subtract the 3x to eliminate it from the one side, this is going to give me negative 2x, and then it doesn't matter what number is right here. Okay, even if it was 0, even if I managed to put in a 0, when I divide by -2, I would get x equals 0. And that is a solution. One solution. Use what you know about slope and systems of equations to graph a system with two equations and no solutions. So that basically means that the lines are parallel. Okay, so I am going to graph a system with two equations that have no solution. I just have to make sure that they're parallel. So this would be one. This would be a super, super easy one. Should have used a ruler. That would have been a little bit nicer. And as long as I make sure that the next line I draw is parallel with this, it has the same slope. There's no solution. Write down the system of equations you graphed in number 4. Okay, well, I made it really easy. Up 1, right 1. So for this one, I'll just call this A, and I'll call this B. So for A, I made m equal to 1, and I made b equal to 0. So that means I have y equals x plus 0, which I don't have to write. Then for b, I also used up 1, right 1, so the slope is still m equals 1. And then I made b equal 4. So then this equation would be y equals 1x plus 4. And obviously you're going to have different answers. But what should be the same about both of them when you write out the equation is that the slope on both of them are the same. Find the area for this triangle. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Okay? So here's the height, but they don't give it to us. But they do give us this triangle right here. And if this is a right angle, then this is a right angle. So if this triangle is a right triangle, then I can use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out the height. Because what I need to figure out the area is the base, that's from here to here, not just this little portion, but from here to here, times the height. So I need this value. I need this value all the way over, and I need this value. Okay, so the Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to make this side A and this side B and this side C. C is always the side opposite the right angle. That's the hypotenuse. So if I have A squared plus B squared equals C squared, then I'm going to have A squared is going to be 8 squared plus B squared equals C squared. So I'm going to have 64 plus b squared equals 100. I'm going to subtract the 64 from both sides. I'm going to get b squared equals 36. I'm going to have b. There's two numbers that I can multiply to get to 36, where the number is the same. So it's b times b equals 36, right? So it could be 6 times 6. Or it could be -6 times -6. The thing is, this is a distance, right? So which one, it can't be a negative number, so b is equal to 6. Okay, so that means this is 6. So now for my formula, area equals 1/2 base times the height. I have the height is 6. But the base is from here to here. And so it's saying from here to here is 2/3, and that is equal to 8. So I want to go all the way across. So 2/3 of what number is equal to 8? This is how we solve it. So I'm going to divide this side by 2/3 and divide this side by 2/3, and I get x equals 12. Okay, so from here to here is 12. So then finally, the answer, so this is like a multi-step problem. But finally, I have area equals 1/2 the base, which is 12. 12 times the height, which is 6. So So 1/2 of 12 is 6, so 6 times 6, the area equals 36 units squared. Okay, last one. Reflect this shape across the x-axis. So that means that this point right here will be the same distance from the x-axis on the other side. So this creates, because it says the x-axis, this is creating a mirror image. So I want the mirror image of this across the x-axis. So this is 1 unit above, I go 1 unit below. This is 1 unit above, I go 1 unit below. This is 2 units above, so I'll go 2 units below. This is 2, 3, 4 above, so I go 2, 3, 4 below. And then this one is 2, 3 above, so I go 2, 3 below. And that's it.